Hey, good morning, Saturday morning cartoons crew. I'm Mark, one of your hosts, along with my wonderful co-hosts, Rosemarie, Jerome, Connor, and we have a special guest today, a gentleman who has co-hosted a great couple of segments in the past, or he did one, I can't remember, Mark Streed. Hello, Mark.
How's it going?
How you doing? All right.
How are you guys?
I'm sorry?
How are you guys?
We are a little frantic, but we're good. But we're used to frantic. Good morning, Jennifer. I'm using a new format right now only because I just want to test some things out. So I'm testing it with the show, and that is I am doing all of this from the Monster, as I call the Monster, the 86-inch TV, and it's better for my eyes than to look always down in my lap. For the laptop. Excuse my messy house. Yes, it is a messy house.
I figured you were testing out the couch.
No, well, let me tell you, I don't want to get rid of this couch. I'd asked people before exactly how long they have had their furniture, and some people have gone as far as saying 20 years. So yes. I'm fine. I mean, this thing is I've fallen asleep, and this is just the love seat, the full seat, 80-inch couch is behind me. And I've literally fallen asleep on that couch. It's so comfortable. This couch is so comfortable. I hate to get rid of it just because it's old. And so we have a little bit of lag time I'm seeing, and only because my area is under a tornado watch currently until 11 a.m. We're now under a storm watch until 9:30 a.m.
Yeah, but Mark, you don't look good in red ruby slippers.
Well, yeah. I did want to knock that bitch on the side of her head right now. Anyway, so it's I'm looking out the window as we speak, and I mean, well, this is Florida. We know what storms look like when they come, don't we, Rose?
Yeah. Yep. They come really fast and dark. It's very dark, and then it's gone.
Terry, over there in Ireland, hold on. I'm listening to some noise on my patio as we speak, my screen patio.
It's supposed to get cold again. We're getting
tomorrow, 86 degrees yesterday, 62 degrees tomorrow.
So cold.
That's why everybody gets sick on and off so often up here.
Wow.
This up and down.
Just freezing, really.
Yeah, you're freezing. The guys down on the bottom screen live in the wrong parts of the country. The two on the top, okay, are enjoying, sunshine and warmth constantly. But this 22, we thought 21 was bad, and everybody was ready for 21 to be over. And then, I'm sorry, we just moved into the dark side, going into 22, for God's sake, It's just absolutely crazy.
Being in Colorado, I always have the high ground.
Have the what?
I always have the high ground.
Okay, Obi-Wan.
Oh, you have the high. Oh, is that what it is? You have the high ground. Okay.
Yeah, Alexander the Great,
Well, you know what? David just took a piece of stone in a sling and knocked that high ground on his ass. So you stay right there. Just stay right there. So anyway, until my studio is being completed, aka hoarder room, until that is completed, okay, we are going to be, my studio is going to be floating around, my living room.
I feel like flamethrower would help. Is the way to go, though. I mean,
yeah. What's that, Jerome?
I said a flamethrower will help with the
Hey! I don't like the smell of smoke. Okay, so and some of those materials that will burn are actually poisonous as well. So I'm not into that. Let's kill Mark today kind of mode. No, I'll stand there and go, "Ooh, gee, I wonder what this does." So Mark did a great episode with us a few months back on Thundar Barbarian, right?
My favorite,
which was fabulous.
So good.
And that was the only one you did, right? That's the only one I think.
I did. I was just a guest in another one. I wasn't a host.
Oh, okay.
I forget.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't know if you did another one.
Yeah, he showed up, give his 2 cents worth.
Yeah,
he did to give his 2 cents worth. But the Thundar the Barbarian one was fantastic. And now we're thinking you can pull this off. I have been wrong in the past.
I don't know.
It's possible.
Yeah, and what the hell is this personally? What exactly?
I love that. I love
the
D20. There's a board game called King of Tokyo, and there's all these monsters you're fighting. And so I, along with some other content creators, were created to be a piece in the game. And
you honestly think the way this character looks that you can beat up monsters? Really?
Well,
really?
You're supposed to be the monster they're trying to beat up.
What you look like George from Seinfeld,
right? Yeah.
So do you have to play Blue Oyster Cult in the background when you're playing
this?
Yes.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. I love it. That's fantastic. Well, I think you're better at talking about board games and things of that nature, and it's very, very interesting that to coincide with board games that you play, there were actually 1, 2, maybe, I don't know, cartoon shows that focus on board games. And this one you claim is pretty good. So why don't you go ahead and fill us in on what you're doing today?
So today we're going to talk about the D&D cartoon. But the thing about it is, before the cartoon came out, D&D had a huge PR problem. Like, monster-related PR problem. I mean, there was even a movie with Tom Hanks, Mazes and Monsters. That's
correct. I've seen that.
Yeah, and that painted a pretty grim picture of what role-playing was all about.
Horrible film.
And there's all these groups that formed up in the early 80s about how we must ban this game. It's super, super evil. So the first clip I want to show is the D&D game commercial.
I get it. That was the cue. Hey, hold on. But I've never had anybody on this show that has such a short monologue, so you totally threw me off. And
well, there's more, but I want to show
No. I like it short. Hold on. I'm going to the clip. What's the first clip? Clip 1, intro?
No. D&D game commercial. That clip.
D&D. Well, it wasn't number 1.
Nope.
Now, what did I tell you about labeling these damn things? D&D game commercial. Got it. Here we go. It's coming.
Uh-huh.
I thought I was on the fast laptop, but maybe I'm on the slow laptop.
No worries. It's all good.
Oh, no. I'm looking at the curly hue on my screen.
Uh-oh.
Hey, Mark, let me just share with you. I went to a Christian school during this whole time, okay?
Oh, hold on. It's too late.
You're playing the most phenomenal game ever created. Your skin grows cold from your first glimpse of the enormous beast. It's a product of your imagination. Survival.
What the hell?
A quick, decisive move. The choices are limited. Stand and fight, or run. Use your lightning bolt. Victory is yours.
Win the treasure.
Okay, so
was that it?
That was it. That was the commercial for the original game. There were several iterations. Obviously, the original was actually 1973 when the original onto the scene, and it was self-published, and before it even went to TSR. And then TSR, they got involved, bought it up. 1975 is when it was really big on the scene, so to say, and then kind of launched from there. So it was this game. And then, of course, like I said, it had this huge ginormous PR problem. People were up in arms about it. Super evil. This is terrible. Our kids are in trouble. You know,
and that's why every kid in the world wanted to play it.
That's right, exactly. And I played this game, you know, and as a kid, the thing with role-playing games was let's create a party and go beat up some orcs. I mean, it was all about that's what you're doing as a kid with that with D&D. But you know, as time goes on in teenage years and so forth, D&D becomes this amazing storytelling adventure that you're on, and that's really the strong points, and really that's what they've discovered to up to today with the new version of D&D, that it's less about stats, it's less about keeping a spreadsheet of what you're doing, it's more about the storytelling, and that rich, and a lot of things like Critical Role, obviously, and now their cartoon Vox Machina are all about bringing the story to life. And then other shows like the Dungeon Run really embody that. And you get a lot of really fun episodes because the people they're featuring are all like, you know, actors, and they all do such a great job embodying the characters in the game. But I've been in some pretty interesting games where people were like, I guess I'll go here. You know, they're very, you know, but when you get a good group together, it is just a fantastic game and such a great imagination type game, storytelling and character creation, all that kind of stuff. So
I was in a run that ran for 20 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yay.
I think the longest game I was in was maybe 10. 10 years, I think, was the longest one. But
you know,
yeah, but I've played so many times. I haven't played now for maybe another 5 or 10 years.
Yeah,
but
mine's about 10 years.
I've done some one-offs, right? But not like an ongoing campaign.
Well,
So.
I mean, D&D also brought out, it was, because I talked to the authors on this one, Dragonlance.
Yeah.
Was a direct, you know, and it started all the role-playing games. The biggest one that sort of rivaled it at the time back in the 70s and early 80s was Traveler.
Yes.
Okay.
And,
hold on, guys. I need to cut you off, Jerome. Rose, I had interrupted you. You were saying something when the clip came on. What was it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, Mark had mentioned about the game and all the bad PR it was having. At the time, D&D was very big. I was part of a campaign. We were doing it at school. It was a private Christian school. And they were like really down on us playing these games. In fact, they told us to go home and watch Mazes and Monsters when it came out so we could discuss it the next day, which we did. And they were like, see how what the game could just drag you in and suck you in and do all this bad stuff. So they were always telling us, oh, you know, it's you know, of the devil, you know.
Yeah.
And so that made us want to play more.
Yeah,
so we would like go hide in the corners and play during our lunch, you know, on the playground and stuff. But I know all about the negative side because they like try to beat it into our brains at school about how, you know, the game can just suck you in and you can become part of the game and you start to think about really killing people in real life, which never happened. Okay.
No, not for us.
People love creating characters only if you had like a mental condition, maybe, you know, like now the movie Mazes and Monsters was actually based on a true story, but the guy had a mental health issue.
Right.
Which caused him to be delusional. It was not the game. The game was just like part of it. You know.
Okay, you two, give Mark back his show. Go ahead, Mark.
Oh, good.
Well, there you go.
That's
That
great
was my 2 cents on
because
that.
what D&D needed desperately was a huge PR move, right? So that's what actually spawned this cartoon. This show was like, oh man, how can we fix the D&D image? So let's jump into the intro for the D&D cartoon. Clip 1.
Oh, thank you. And it's swirling and it's swirling. Here it comes. Oh. It's coming, guys.
Dungeons and Dragons ride! Wow!
Give me a break.
I don't like this!
Look out! Fear not, Ranger. Barbarian, magician, thief, cavalier, and acrobat. Avenger, dungeon man.
Yep. Mark, you still there?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. That was the injured clip.
All right. So the thing about the show, though, right, is they definitely tried to lighten the whole presence of D&D, and they did a great job, because one of the interesting things and it actually always bugged me was the fact that they considered the intro really to be the first episode about how things start. Episode 1, they're already hip deep in the world and things are already happening, and they already are complaining about, what is Dungeon Master going to do to us next? So I, as a kid, I was like, wait, did I miss the first episode? What's going on here? So I found that to be really interesting, that they just jumped in and used the intro as basically the origin story of the whole show, which other cartoons and things have done, but I really think they did actually a pretty good job of making the intro episode 0, so to say. And it sets up the characters and even aligns their classes with the different classes that they're going to be in the so-called game or show. I thought that was really interesting too. But of course, because it's a Saturday morning cartoon, they had to lighten things up, because like Eric, who plays the Cavalier, that character in D&D is pretty formidable, but he's not in the show.
No.
Okie doke.
So that kind of sets everything up, and let's look at the characters. So there's an image just called characters. Mark.
What am I looking for?
The image JPEG characters.
I'm still looking.
What's interesting on that is you watched it, and when I watched it as a kid, I looked at some of them going, no. That's where it's supposed to be able to kick ass and take names.
Exactly.
The so-called barbarian is this little kid with what looks like something out of a caveman. I'm going, what?
Yeah.
Oh, just on the side note to what Rose was saying about, being told this was unchristian, whatever.
Sure.
I grew up on military bases, and it was considered un-American.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that one. That's crazy.
Yeah. There was there were parent groups all over the bases. Okay, because of whatever. Remember, we're hip deep in the Cold War at the time.
Yeah.
Right? And now we're bringing this in. And to be honest, the so-called un-American actually tied in with the unchristian side of it.
Huh.
Oh, yeah. So what did we all do? We all still played it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even more. It was
Absolutely.
even more interesting,
Yeah. And what was interesting, it was like the only type of game we ever played before, Nobody had ever played role-playing games before. Well, they had, but that was the adults.
Yeah, sure. But, the other ones, there we go. So let's take a look at this cast of characters.
Hey, Mark.
Starting with the far left, we've got Presto. And now Presto is like, he's the comic relief, really, in the series. And he was played by Adam Rich from 8 is Enough.
Yep.
So he definitely is like the magician. The mage is what you would call it in the game. But everything he pulls out of the hat is seemingly, well, not everything, but most of the things he pulls out are seemingly worthless. But then suddenly they help in some way, which is pretty funny because he has some really comedic moments. But he's really there for that, I would say. And then you've got Diana, who's the acrobat, and she obviously super powerful because she's got all the acrobatic abilities. She's got that magical staff. She was voiced by
Tanya Gale Smith.
That's it, Tanya Gale Smith. Thank you.
I dated her.
She was awesome. I don't know. Her abilities, though, were super formidable and should be in that type of character. So, but my favorite is Hank the Ranger because his bow is so amazing. So this is also played by Willie Armez. Is that right?
Ames.
From 8 is Enough.
Ames.
Yeah, Ames. So he was just obviously the leader of the group, which is always in contention because Eric, who's a spoiled rich boy, he wants to be the leader, but is never good at it when he gets a chance. So, but Hank is definitely the leader of the group.
Well, of course he is. Look how tall and blonde he is.
I know, right? I mean, that's the thing. And what's also interesting is that all these characters are kids, are like age range from like 8 to 15, I think is what it said. Yeah. So they're all like very naive to any of this stuff, which is pretty fun. And then you have
Wolverines.
Right, exactly. Bobby the Barbarian.
Oh God, I hated him.
I mean, the Barbarian character should be huge. And they make the smallest character the strongest character, which is so crazy.
Hey, so, size doesn't matter, buddy.
Size doesn't matter. But he has that amazing club, which is, I don't think there was ever anything in the D&D manual club like that.
Oh, no, there's a club, but it was like wicked tame and useless.
Yeah, you could get a club for like 3 copper pieces or something.
Yeah, exactly. or go out to the woods and cut yourself one.
It definitely didn't have the power that this thing.
Give me a switch.
Yeah.
And awesome. His sidekick Uni, which is the unicorn.
Oh, I hated him.
The visual, the vocal effects were provided by Frank Welker. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
It's pretty funny, actually.
Well, I guess if he can do Scooby, he can do a unicorn.
It's like any animal. It's usually Frank Welker.
Yeah.
And they discover Uni like right away when they arrive in the world and so forth. So Uni is definitely an ongoing character. There's even a whole episode about Valley of the Unicorns that they interact with Uni's family. Oh, is he going to stay with the group or stay with his people or family? So that's pretty interesting. And then on the far right of this image, we have Sheila, who's the thief. And her only thing is an invisibility cloak. I mean, that's it. I'm always like, what is she going to do?
I want to know where the lockpicks are. You know, I mean, if you're a thief, you need at least I like the invisible cloak, but she's got to have some lockpicks.
Yeah, she can't do the backstabbing, because that's her special ability, the double backstab, but she can't stab anybody in the back.
She can't stab anybody.
She doesn't have a weapon. I think she's the only one without a weapon of some sort.
Yeah, she should have had something, especially in this dangerous world.
Yeah.
And then that brings us to Eric the Cavalier, who is a spoiled rich kid and is complaining in every single episode about every single thing. He was the character, even as a kid. I was so annoyed by this character.
Yes.
I wanted him to die.
You would not want him in your party, for sure.
Yeah, the problem is who played him. The actor played him really well.
Yeah. Yep. And it was Don Most from Happy Days.
That's the part that kills me.
So that was that cast of characters was a very unique party, to say the least. Absolutely. And then Mark, take us to the image for Dungeon Master, the JPEG.
The image for Dungeon Master.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So I love some of these other images. Like this is a new stylized version of the cartoon someone did. There's a whole line of like resin figures and things you can get. But I love this artwork of Dungeon Master. It's so cool. Another thing about Dungeon Master that annoyed me, I thought at least after the first season we could start calling him DM, but no, because it has to be every Dungeon Master. It just became a mouthful every time.
Oh yeah,
but he's definitely got this Yoda quality to him.
Well, I think that's what they did. I think they intentionally did that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he talks in riddles the whole time, and the next clip I'm going to show is clip 2, Mark. But let me set it up. It's every good D&D adventure requires the Dungeon Master to set the scene. And he does this in just about all the episodes. Not all of them, but just about all of them. But this first one from episode 1 is probably the best because it's like, oh, we got to introduce this. We got to set it up. But he sets up the scene for the party and what they're going to need to do.
And it is working.
Okay.
Wait for it. You gotta wait for it. Pretty bad weather here right now, so I know I'm having some connection issues, but bear with me. This is going to pop up in a sec.
Here we go.
Cool.
Dungeon Master. Where did you come from?
Oh, someplace between there and here.
Listen, I've had it with your riddles. Now give us a straight answer for once. How do we get out of this world?
Patience, Cavalier. All things have a purpose, including your presence here. Tonight is the celebration in the village of Helix. You will journey to the north for it. There you may find something that will help you get back home. Helix was once
Dragons.
Yes. Lots of dragons in the show.
See a flying dragon who attacked at night, but good magic drove them away. Now, on your way, you must fear only the many faces of evil.
Mark, what browser are you using? Did Mark lock up?
I think he locked up.
Yep, I think he did.
Yeah.
Well, we lost Mark.
He's frozen in time.
There you go.
Oh, there he is.
I wonder if he's using the wrong browser, but anyway, yeah. The whole narration at the beginning, you know, that got added in. It was such an influence. It got added into video games.
It did.
You can definitely see that in Jumanji, the new versions of Jumanji, and even movies. You know,
all over the place. I mean, and the really interesting thing about the show in general is, like I said, there was this PR problem, and what this cartoon did for D&D was just phenomenal, because it was responsible for basically transforming D&D and crafting the image of D&D, and also introducing a lot of language into the common household that we still know today.
Well, that's because that's a generational thing. My father and mother, they saw it and they kind of went, well, as long as he's not out, you know, being an axe murderer, it can't be too bad. You know, they weren't thrilled with it, but you know, they also understood the creative side of it.
Yeah.
You know, especially since, you know, they're like, well, at least he's interacting with other people. You know?
It had, and when it aired on Saturday mornings, it had interesting placement. I think if this is right, I think it was right after Pac-Man and right before Pole Position.
Right, but it was up against something else, because that's why I didn't watch it all the time.
Yeah,
there was something really popular that it was up against.
I want to say it was on like around 11 o'clock, maybe.
Right.
Like that,
which made it difficult to watch.
I mean, it did go 3 seasons and 27 episodes. So I mean, that's
but you got to remember, at 11 o'clock on a Saturday, now we're starting to cut into potential sports time.
We are.
So I know up here in the local
okay, so
it got preempted quite a bit.
Are you guys seeing me okay?
Yes, we are. Yes.
Yeah. What happened?
Yeah, there's a storm coming through right now. So Rhodes and Jerome seems to be frozen.
No.
We can.
Okay, you see them and hear them?
Yeah, we can see everybody moving now.
Okay, so it's on my end. Okay, what do we got next? Because we're running tight here on time.
Yep. All right, so next up, let's talk about the main baddie, which is Vinger. So let's play clip number 3.
Okay. I'll let this run, then I'm going to come back in. Probably I need to reboot myself.
Okay.
Get the other laptop.
Any second now.
You have the frost giant I set against you. I will not be so easy to deal with. Later, it will be a simple matter to recover the weapons from the depths of the glacier. Weapons now! Or suffer the consequences!
In here, hurry!
Where's Uni?
All right. So the thing about that clip that I love is that it's the one clip that shows Vinger and also shows all the different powers of all the different weapons and that the team is carrying. So, and it's really interesting because, you truly get the feel for a Saturday morning cartoon, just how evil this character is. He doesn't pull punches at all. He's truly trying to wipe out the characters 100%. So I really like that aspect, especially as a kid. I'm like, wow, a real bad guy.
Well, I while I was watching this, I went and looked at the episodes, and I didn't realize that the people who wrote this were all comic book guys.
Yes.
Mark Evner, Steve Gerber, and Mike Reeves, who's a science fiction writer.
Yeah.
All wrote the novelizations for Star Wars. That's why this is so good. Is we got really good writing.
Yeah. And of course, Vinger was voiced by Peter Cullen.
Oh, yeah.
Which was awesome. Just adding that much needed deep.
Oh, yeah.
I love it so much. So, yeah. And, he's the ongoing baddie throughout the show. Now, the other one is Tiamat. He is the giant multi-headed dragon in the show. And he is the only thing that Vinger is actually afraid of. So, Mark, jump to clip 3, Monster 2.
I love the missing horn.
Yes, right? Can you hear me, Mark?
Mark, can you hear us?
Mark, can you hear us? We can't hear you, Mark.
I hear you.
And you're looking for you're
anyway.
You're frozen.
The monster Tiamat was voiced by Frank Welker as well.
Yeah.
And he is this 5-headed, just crazy draconic goodness dragon.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Actually taken. Okay. There you are.
Oh, there it is.
Yes.
Yes.
So this is the only thing that Vinger is afraid of, other than maybe Dungeon Master.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically a Hydra.
It is.
Wait, Tiamat! You have to.
The clip stopped, Mark.
Yeah, Mark.
But that gives you a look at him. And
but yeah, it sure does.
Each head has a different power, if I remember right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And again, right out of the game.
I hear you guys. Calm down.
I gotta say, the was this ever released on DVD, Mark?
Yes, it was.
Okay, so between that and YouTube, people should be able to find all this.
You should be able to find all that. I found everything on YouTube. And the thing about that dragon, again, like I said, is that Vinger is very fearful that he can't do anything. You see an episode where he's like flinging all kinds of stuff at the dragon. It just keeps coming. It doesn't care. You know?
Yeah, it's interesting because you watch. I mean, I know in the first season because I rewatched it when we were doing it when we were talking with Buzz Dixon on some of the stuff. Yeah, I rewatched the first season, and there's actual character growth in this series.
Yes, big time.
You know,
that was I was going to get to that, but yeah, there's huge amount of character growth.
Even the villain.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, there you are.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Oh, you can hear me?
There's a lag.
Wow.
There's a lag. But
there's a lag.
There are some serious internet issues going on in my area with this storm, so you're going to get this back and forth with me.
Okay. The thing to point out about that specific episode there too was that the Dragon's Graveyard was called. They almost pulled it because it was so controversial.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, it was crazy because of the violence related to it.
Oh, because the characters were contemplating killing the dragon.
They were contemplating killing. Yes, I mean it was pretty intense actually. And I rewatched it this week, and I'm like, yeah, I could see what they were going for.
What year was this show on, Mark?
This was let's see, this one, well, the whole thing came about in 85 for the controversy around that, but the show was aired from 83 to 85, so it was in the latter part of it that it was people were kind of up in arms about it. So yeah, it's it's interesting because I, even as a kid, I'm like, wow, I can't believe this is a show that's on, so they did a really interesting job there. And one of the things, we'll jump a little bit further down than I planned. There is a thing about the show that always bugged me and still bugs me about so many other shows. It has the Gilligan's Island complex. So does Voyager. And every episode is, oh, we almost got home. Not this time. Just kidding.
Yeah, but at least they don't try to make radio out of coconuts,
Right. None of that stuff. But in Gilligan's Island it works. Voyager, it just made me angry.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm like, why can't they get home and go on other adventures?
Yeah, Lost in Space, same idea,
Yeah.
Yeah, my husband said it would have been a lot better if they had gotten home maybe the first season and then moved on from there. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Mark, if you can play clip 4, Almost Home.
All right, stand by. I am trying to compensate for the handicap we got going on today.
Yeah, no worries.
Any second now. Someday this week. You guys can hear me okay?
Yeah, now, yeah.
Was this a Filmation production?
Let me look here. I
don't think it was.
I didn't think it was.
I don't think it was either, but I'm just checking.
It actually was, let's see.
Because this don't look like Hanna-Barbera.
No. So it was a co-production of Marvel Productions and TSR.
Oh, that explains the art with Marvel.
Yep.
And the writers.
Yep. And
because Mark.
Yeah. Hey, Mark, can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yep.
Oh, good. Okay. I'm trying to upload all your clips now into the program. Typically, I was playing right out of a file from my laptop, but unfortunately, when you asked for clip 4, all of your videos were uploading, so kind of there's a conflict that was happening in the computer.
Okay.
See, this is why we shouldn't get dinged. We're such amateurs.
Nope, that's not it.
That's not clip 4?
Nope, that's
Mark?
Monster 4. We're looking for clip 4, Almost Home. That was Monster 4. And all the monsters, well, not all of them, most of them in the series were all based on the monster manual.
Well, that's what I was wondering. I wonder if they just sort of like plopped the monster manual in the Unearth Arcanum and just went, here, go for this.
Yeah, absolutely a ton of that. I mean, they pulled a bunch of those out, but some were definitely
Mark.
made. Yes.
Oh. Huge lag. He's talking. We can't hear you, Mark.
Mark, can you hear me, Mark?
Yes, now we can.
Yeah, there's a serious lag, Mark.
Lag, though.
Got that part, Jerome. Come on, man. I know this is happening. You trying to communicate with you. So loading and it's just that.
You know what's interesting is this show and this game also. One of the huge influences that you could see it in one of the movies later in the 90s was Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh my
yeah.
God. Yes.
I mean, you got a beholder, you got the whole villain thing. I mean, it's practically a D&D game itself, and you can see the influence that this show had on things like that.
Yep. And
Absolutely.
what's crazy is that, like I said, it was on the way to be banned, basically. You know?
Yeah.
And it was because of this cartoon that it has become, you know, what we have today. I mean, I'm not sure that D&D would have survived without this cartoon.
I think it would have, but it would have been a lot smaller.
It would have
it would become like a convention game only.
Yeah, you're probably right, but it wouldn't be to the scale that we have it now.
I mean, what are we up to? Version
5E, so
5E, something like that. Yeah, and they're really screwing up badly with it in the latest.
Yeah, I heard terrible things about the new version.
Yeah,
so it's it just has an ongoing life, though, right? I mean, and it really is. The game is just whatever you make it.
And like I said, it's inspired so many other role playing games. You know,
so many.
In the late 80s and early 90s, the plethora of other games that it came out with. I mean, I've got stuff downstairs that is so obscure, but you can see the direct influence.
Yeah, exactly.
Mark, you and I are going to have to talk about some of these role playing games later.
Now, I mean, the almost home thing was something I wanted to point out, but we can skip over that clip. The last thing, really, that I want to talk about is the fact that there was an undeveloped episode, the last episode, which would have been episode 28, right? But this is you found out some pretty interesting things in this last bit, and they did some voice work for it. But there's no animation. You can actually go watch the full episode on YouTube and find out how the whole story ends, right? And where it all goes, what happens with Vinger and who Vinger really is, because it's alluded to in the series. But I don't know if we can't play the clip. We can just talk to it, Mark.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
Okay, let me try this now, please. Stand by. We are coming. The same. This is what I'm experiencing.
Mayday! 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 Starfire 19er to base. Do you read? Do you?
Let it go! Come back!
Hey, buddy! Whoa! Oh, he didn't see us.
You sure he's from Earth? I've never seen a plane like that before. Oh, boy. Another chance to get...
Hey, Rose, can you hear me?
Yes, there.
Yes, that clip sounded really good.
Yeah, that clip is much better.
Yeah. Oh, there he goes.
There he goes.
I got it. Oh, darn. Another way we
Another
didn't get home.
And I love all the different ways they almost get home, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Obviously a plane from their time, or
It looks like the future.
It's from the future. We're not sure.
I don't recall jet planes in any of the campaigns I ever played.
Yeah, there were no jet planes. So obviously, this D&D world keeps sucking other people in. And
hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Rose, I need you to come into the studio, okay? Rose?
I'm here. Yeah.
Are you in the studio?
He wants you to run the studio.
You in
thing.
the studio?
Okay.
Like if you were doing your own show, Rose.
What do you want me to do?
He's froze up again.
Yeah. Try the private chat side of the studio. You might be able to chat with him that way because he's locking up a lot. Yeah, the constant, we're not getting home this time was as the first season it was kind of okay, but as they kept going on, you're just kind of like going, somebody snag this DM and put him over a spit and get him,
Exactly. And I love, though, they did have all unique ways they almost got home, like the airplane, right? And portals that open and
then close.
And then just close just as they get to it, And it's always like, and a lot of times with the portals, especially, it's like, oh, look, it's the amusement park where they came from. So, so it was really interesting. But this last clip that we'll probably look at is the Fate Avenger. And kind of just the end of where they end up. And again, this wasn't a Saturday morning cartoon, but the fact that this show had such a following that they felt the need to develop a script and have it actually voiced.
Well, Mike Reeves, I think it's Mike Reeves, the creator / head writer there.
Yes.
Released the clip, the script onto the internet.
Yep. And so they even got one of the actors to do. I can't remember which one. I think it was.
It says here a fan-made animated version of the finale appeared online in 2020.
2020
includes original audio drama.
Yep.
So it's probably they probably did the voice work and then they went, oh, by the way, you're canceled.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, the voice work was done well after.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. So they got like one of the actors came in to do, and then they just had some other people do voices. But I really like the fact that they actually tried to finish it for fans, right? They actually pulled some together. And there's actually, it looks like a graphic novel when you go watch the episode.
Yeah.
They've got panels as they're flipping through pages. So it's not animated, but you have a sense of what visually would have been there. So I really like that aspect. But again, if we can play the last two clips, clip 5, Fate Avenger, and clip 5, the end, that kind of ends up the show where you had wished it had gone. But if you're really interested, definitely go watch it. It's on YouTube. You can see the full thing for sure.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
But you break up and you pause.
Okay. Right. I am uploading your clips. Rose will run it. I need to just watch this show because my internet connection is all screwed up with this. I'm on a tornado watch right now. So I'm getting bombarded as we speak.
He looks like he's in
one of
those bad
clip 5 is being uploaded.
So there's two. There's one called clip 5, the end, and clip 5, the Fate Avenger.
Okay.
All right. Can you hear me? Testing. Okay.
Which clip do you want, Mark?
Let's do the Fate Avenger first.
Clip 5. It's uploaded.
Okay. Play it now.
The Fate Avenger. There you go.
Is transformed. Before the very eyes, he changes into the noble, majestic figure whose likeness is carved on the sarcophagus. He looks down at himself in disbelief.
I was right. Our mission in the realm was not to defeat Venger. It was to redeem him.
So Venger ends up being Dungeon Master's son, who is transformed and super evil. So they end up saving him.
I like that,
Yeah, which I thought, I think it's pretty decent. They wanted to feel good ending, obviously, but he definitely was so evil in the show that you kind of want him to be vanquished.
Yeah. You exile him somewhere so if you have a future reference, but yeah.
Definitely. But if you want to play the last clip, the clip 5, the end.
The end? Okay, let's do that.
You are free to return to your world now if you wish. Or you can stay here in the realm. There is still much evil to be dealt with, and many adventures yet to be had. The choice, my children, is yours.
The kids look at each other, grinning, tears of happiness in their eyes, ready to make their greatest decision of all. They survey their newly transformed surroundings, the realm's edge, majestic mountains, and puffy clouds. Even the incredible vista of the entire realm itself, with its myriad lands and life forms, its joys, its dangers. Though it's a new realm now, it still is, and always will be, the realm of Dungeons and Dragons.
I love the thematic bit. The realm of Dungeons and Dragons.
You know, for that they needed the guy who goes, in a world of
yes, indeed. Right. So I love that they came back and tidied up and finished off the series, but they still leave the end with a choose your own adventure. Like, oh, do we go home or do we stay? So I mean, you could.
But they solved that problem though. Did you not see the car commercial?
Yes. So I do have that clip. I don't know if you have it available. I did upload the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon becomes a live action commercial.
Let's see if we have that one.
Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
That commercial is uploading as well as the toy commercial. So once they're done, you'll be able to play them.
Okay.
Okay, I'm looking for them, and as soon as they're up, we'll play them.
Because what was funny is on a previous show we had seen the wacky races for Fiat.
Yeah.
And then I swear not 2 or 3 years later, I stumble across this one and I'm like going, what other shows are they going to do for cartoons for car commercials? I mean, this is just so brilliant.
And
so we're going to go ahead and play that clip. We've got it.
Okay.
So we're going to play it. So here you go.
Time to go back home, kids.
Let's go.
You'll never escape. Go. Presto, do something.
Wait, where's Uni?
Right? I can't. Just the fact that D&D has become so popular, they would go and do that. I mean, that's some pretty high production value, right?
Oh, yeah, and they got the body types all right,
Yeah.
But I did see 2 things. If you didn't notice it, first off, the license plate on the front says "Kids Cartoon."
Yes, I did.
And then the girl with the thief, right? She puts the hood on and she sort of vanishes, and suddenly now there's more room for them to pass. Like, wait a minute, how did that happen?
And I love too the fact that this is actually how they got home.
What's interesting is the acrobat there knows how to drive.
Yes, right. Just suddenly, I mean, she's only 15 or 14 even. So,
but it was great.
The production value on that is just incredible.
Yeah, I mean, that's movie quality production.
It was, and my 12-year-old self says, "I want this full movie."
Yeah,
my 12-year-old self is now going, "Okay, I'll buy that vehicle."
Right?
Totally.
It's totally that. And it was so good. Now, that was really kind of the end. I mean, we could take a look at the toy commercial if you want, but really
we have the toy commercial and we have an Eric clip. Did you want me to play the Eric clip?
Eric, you could play the Eric clip just to show how he's the complainer.
Well, let's do that and then we'll do the toy clip.
Hey guys, can you hear me? Hello?
Yep.
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay, it's a delayed on my end before your responses. The Presto one is also uploading as well, Mark.
All right.
Okay, so let's do Eric. Here we go.
Terrific! He splits and leaves us on a cliffhanger for real this time. Achoo! Whoa! Huh?
Nice fall, Eric.
Huh. Somebody around here's got a lousy sense of humor, and his initials are Dungeon Master.
Just every chance he gets to complain about something, right?
I don't know, man. I think you think about it. He does have some points about Dungeon Master and the fact that it's like, how do we get here? Why am I doing this guy's dirty
I feel
work?
like I want to play an Eric character in a game.
Oh God, they'd kill you.
So yeah, he just on and on with that kind of stuff. You want to play the toy commercial real quick?
Sure, let's go ahead and do that.
Yep.
In the eerie world of deep, dark dungeons, mystery and magic seem real. There's good against evil with advanced Dungeons and Dragons action figures. War Duke, Kellic, Strongheart, and Bronze Dragon, each sold separately.
Beware, Strongheart. You will cast an evil spell and steal the treasure. Well, evil is no match for good. The treasure is safe.
Advanced Dungeons and Dragons action figures, Kellic, War Duke, Bronze Dragon, Strongheart, each sold separately from LJN.
Now those toys were featured in the cartoon, but never the main characters.
Yeah,
they're not part of that line at all. There was some, I forget what it was, like some little resin figures that are super expensive.
Oh yeah, I saw those recently, man. Those, they look great, but boy, are they pricey.
Yeah.
Well, I remember wanting those figures, and my parents are like, "You're collecting Star Wars. You don't need anything else."
Totally, 100%. Yeah, I ran into the same kind of thing. But yeah, so it was just really interesting that the main runners of the show never got like a toy line, like side characters, and those side characters were characters that you could find in D&D modules and different like parts of the game. So that's why they made the toys to bring you from the cartoon to the game and so forth. So, but again, I think the whole brilliant move of TSR just to this PR nightmare they had originally, just really just set the tone for D&D in the future. They did such a good job bringing it to the mainstay and it's not evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, Streed, I've got 2 more clips that Mark uploaded, Presto and Bo.
We can show Presto and then we'll do Bo.
Okay, cool. Okay. We'll go ahead and do Presto.
It covers sports fires. Abracadabra and hocus pocus. Save us quick before we go up in smokus. Ow, it's not working.
Well, it's always been tough to put out a fire with whipped cream, Presto.
Huh?
So yeah, he never gets it right. He just doesn't ever get it right.
I love the fact that he has to reach into his hat.
Yeah, yeah. Some of his backfires, though, actually do save the day, but they're never what he intended. And then the bow, I just did a thing. If you want to show that clip, it's super short.
Okay.
Get ready.
So the bow is probably the most powerful weapon of all of them. And there are times in the show like that one where it's like crazy powerful, but other times, I can't even do anything. I always wanted like the bow and the sun sword from Thundar as a combo in a game.
There you go.
Things.
What's interesting is that our so-called ranger, our cavalier, whatever, has a shield. Yeah, and that's it.
That's it.
It's like,
no
where's
sword.
The friggin' sword? Yeah.
And a cavalier should have a horse as well.
Yeah, they really. It was interesting. It's one power per person.
Yeah, really, that's what it was. Yeah, and how Venger needed those weapons to be his ultimate power. You know.
Hey, Mark.
Hey.
Hey, I didn't know if you could hear me or not.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now we can.
Okay.
Is that rain? Is that rain on your end?
What I am experiencing through my window right now, and I'm watching a tree, hopefully not about.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Did the tree fall?
Yeah, the rain is so loud you can hear it. That's what sounds like static is rain.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, and I have the fastest internet connection imaginable, and it's taxing that. It's tearing it up. So thank you, Rose, for filling in. I know you're not done yet, Mark, because I am having a great time just watching. You know. So
I mean, there's some other things.
Thank you, Rose, for filling.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mark. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, thank you, Rose, for helping out for sure. Those are the main points I wanted to make through this show.
Can I make a little request here?
But
yeah,
you still have that toy commercial. Did you do the toy commercial?
Yeah, we ran it.
We showed the toy commercial.
Rose, do you have the first clip, the opening? Because I'd like to rerun that because we really had some problems with that running.
Yeah, the intro.
Can you upload the intro to me? He's going to upload the intro. I'm going to tell you what I have, and maybe we can play one of those. I've got the Monster 3, Monster 2, Monster 4.
Yeah, you could just play the monster ones back to back if you want.
Okay, we'll do that. Let's play some monsters.
Tiamat, you shall have your chance to claim the weapons in the dragon's graveyard.
Here's another one.
All right.
Well, if I can get it to play.
It's Tiamat!
You have invaded the dragon's graveyard!
Wait, Tiamat! You have to help us!
And I got that third one.
All right.
They're surrounding us! Get back!
I am frozen forever.
So just a collage of some of the different ones, and I really like the fact that they actually brought in a lot of the monster manual type creatures, and they're obviously augmented to fit the cartoon because there would be much more detail worseness to them.
Yeah, I love the fact that you can tell on a couple of them they took the art almost right out of the books.
Oh, big time, right? I mean, they tried to hold on to D&D fans, but also bring it more mainstream.
I gotta wonder, one of the things as we're talking about the input of the game and everything to this is how much input did Gygax get on this?
I don't think he had any. It doesn't seem, nothing that I found showed that he had any input. He was all TSR and so forth.
Yeah, he went through an ugly divorce, I think, about this time.
Yeah,
and I also know that when he sold it to TSR kind of rooked him over.
Yep. And then, TSR went bankrupt, and then we went to Wizards of the Coast, and finally Hasbro is the parent company.
Didn't Wizards of the Coast go bankrupt too?
Yeah, they had their own set of problems.
I like Wizards of the Coast. They're a good company.
Yeah. So,
but you know what? I've got that opening. So why don't we I'll play the opening, and then we'll close it up for the day.
Yep.
How's it sound? Okay, here we go.
Good.
Here's the opening again, folks.
Hey, look! A Dungeons and Dragons ride! Wow, neat!
Give me a break.
I don't like this!
Whoa! What's happening?
Oh!
Where are we? Look out! Fear not, Ranger. Barbarian, magician, thief, carrier, and acrobat.
Who was that?
That was Venger, the force of evil. I am Dungeon Master, your guide in the realm of Dungeons and Dragons.
There we go.
For me as a kid, such an iconic opening now. I mean, I just remember it so well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was like, okay, so in the mid 80s, I'm in my mid 20s, and I'm watching this going, where the hell was this when I was younger?
Yeah, right. I mean, I was like 12, so it was perfect for me.
You young whippersnappers.
I loved it. But yeah, just the fact that I was such a D&D kid that this was so much up my alley.
Yeah. And then the less said about some of the live action films they've done with Dungeons and Dragons, the better.
That's true. I mean, I did see them all because, again, I'm such a nerd for that stuff. But yeah, the live action films were not so good. Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So I was never a Dungeons and Dragons fan.
Uh-oh.
I don't know why people sit around a table to play anything short of Monopoly. Whoops, am I still there?
You keep cutting out, Mark.
Yep.
Yeah, no.
Okay. I'm popping in and out like crazy, guys. So you guys are disappearing. Say again.
So why don't we just wrap up the show?
Okay.
And
testing.
Mark,
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Streed, do some final words. And thank you so much for doing this show today. Sorry about the technical difficulties, but I think it was a great show. You did a great job.
Yeah, it was a great show. And Mark, you got to come back and do something else. We really love having you here. This is fun.
You're always welcome.
So yeah, I thank you so much. This is so much fun. The technical difficulties don't matter. I just love hanging out with you guys. It's so much fun. So, and I get to talk about some of the things that I've always loved as a kid. 100%. You know, it's the show. The thing I think that was just so brilliant is just it was just truly a PR campaign to make D&D mainstream, and they succeeded in a huge way.
And they made money.
So I still feel like we wouldn't have D&D to this extent we do today without this show.
Yeah.
So, yep. But
Well,
thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on.
And the storm has stopped.
Now that the show's over.
It's like on you.
So
like when
next week we'll be back with another show. I'm gonna come up with one, and I'm gonna run it. So we'll see how it goes.
Cool.
And next week we've got Classic Television Smackdown. Roses and Reactions is having a special on March 17th. We're gonna do Leprechaun movies for St. Patrick's Day, and then we're gonna have our regular show next Saturday. Hopefully. We'll see how it goes. But we're definitely doing the Leprechaun show on the 17th. So please keep an eye out for that. And
I want to see your daughter. I want to see your daughter wearing one of those stupid hats, that the drunks have.
You know what? I think I'll do that. I'm going to go down to the Dollar Tree and get us some
drunk hats, right?
Absolutely.
And green beer, Rose. You got to be drinking green beer during the show.
I don't do the green beer thing. But on behalf of all of us at Saturday Morning Cartoons and Mark, who keeps cutting out, thank you again, Mark Streed, and have a great day.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.